a tune with Dill and a real deal. Them and all hype. Got a man feeling all Dillian Whyte. No Diddy, no Dally. I flick out the light. Why you try rev? Why you try rev?
Woo! Man like Dillian Whyte. Well, we just watched the fight. Dillian Whyte knocks out Lucas Browne cold. First of all, we hope he's all right. Obviously, look, boxing's a serious sport. The man got rolled out on wheels. Normally fighters, like, you know, sometimes be big-headed and sort of want to, you know, walk out the ring and that. But you made the right decision. I think it was a big, cold knockout there. So, what do you reckon of the performance, though? I think Dillian Whyte, we said that for him to win this fight, he needs to fight sensible because there's a guy there that he could bang, right? Everyone knew that. He had a great sort of record. And he apparently had a really good chin. So what do you reckon did his performance?
Dillian Whyte, fair play, hats off, our guy. We've obviously, you know, we're big fans of the guy, and yeah, it's nice to see him go in there and actually, you know, he looked the part and actually put on a performance and put on a show and put a big guy to sleep. And I think, like, whatever anybody says, boxing's hard enough as it is, but to go in there and to put a big guy like that to sleep is saying something. Again, like my brother said, it's important, you know, that we make the point that, you know, obviously Lucas Browne's safety is paramount, and we obviously really hope that he's okay. You know, came in there like a soldier, but I think today it just showed that there was levels to it. Yeah, what about you? What did you make of the performance?
Yeah, for me, he showed some serious skills as well, right? I think he was composed. He used his jab very well, doubling up on the jab every single time, and I just think Browne just didn't have any answers. It just proved that you're fighting against a boxer, a guy who knows how to box. And I think with Browne, no offense, you know, I know he did a lot of MMA stuff and all that stuff before he got into the ring, into boxing and stuff like that. But it just showed that there's different levels here with the fighters. And what do you think is Lucas Browne's shape? And there's a lot of people making out the way he came into the ring, but I wasn't really surprised because that's what I expected. I don't know about everybody else. That's what they kind of expected, and he looked for that big shot.
Yeah,
but
he's a big dude, and there's, you know, both of them have, you know, big arms, big shoulders, big chests and stuff. And I don't think they were. I mean, when you come in at 18 stone 10 or whatever it is, I don't think you're going in there to be looking cut up and anything like that. And people like, you know, David Hay, saying things about the physique and you know, saying all this sort of stuff. Listen, don't get me wrong, David Hay's got a physique that I will kill for, yeah. There's been no bones about it yet. But listen, he's heavyweight boxing. Look what happened when David Hay came in to his last few fights. Look at his shape. He got murked by Klitschko when he came in there trying to look like that, and Bellew made the mockery of him. And Bellew's physique isn't exactly something to scream about, but you know, he was a good, like, you know, he's obviously a big guy, whatever, but Hay came in there looking cut up or whatever. It doesn't matter as long as you come in and do the business. And unfortunately, Lucas Browne didn't do the business, but he's never come into fights flipping with abs, like, you know, chiseled out and stuff. So
for me, yeah, with Dillian, I think, like I said there, he knew what he had to do, and it impressed me. Because a lot of people complain about him fighting with emotion. Even he says it himself. Dillian Whyte would say sometimes they say that he gets too involved in the fight and emotion. That's what Browne was saying. And I think Dillian Whyte knew this fight, how much it meant to him about his career as well, and he just fought very, very professionally. But the question was, did Browne make it super easy for him? I don't think it was. I think there was opportunities there for you know, Dillian to lose his head and sort of get into sort of a tussle that what he wanted. But every time Browne tried to dictate the fight or try to hit him hard, he came back to just let him know what time it was. Did you realise that?
Yeah, it actually looked like, everyone talked about Browne being the power fighter and the power hitter, and, you know, watch out for them big shots. It actually looked like it was the other way around. It looked like Dillian Whyte was like, hold on a minute, I'm the puncher and I can trouble you. But as I said, I think with Lucas Browne, again, with the utmost respect, because, you know, I hope, you know, again, I hope you're okay and stuff. But I think.
But what was his plan?
Well, this is what I'm about to say. I was like, it looked like he came in there with no real game plan. It was a bit like, right, okay, let Dillian Whyte start fast, and then, you know what, towards the sort of the middle to the later ends of the fight, I can get them big shots off. Like he kind of went in against Chigayev. He was like, you know, that's what he did to him. He took him quite late, and then he took a big shot, and it was lights out. So I think that's what. If there was a plan, I think that might have been it.
If there was a plan. For me, you know what it reminded me of? It was like, you know that episode with The Simpsons, when Mike Tyson just standing there, just getting clarted for round after round and just hoping he can land that big shot at the end. And that's what, like I said, no offense to Browne, he came across very well. He messaged us as well to thank for the build up to the fight and stuff. So, you know, proper nice guy in that. But I just think when he got clarted, he was like rotted. Do you know what I mean? He was like, this is levels now. And I think that, and like I said, I don't think there was a plan there. That's what it looked like anyway. I'm sure there was some sort of plan there.
Obviously. But I'd say this, yeah. I'd say it kind of shows that Lucas Browne hasn't been, and we kind of questioned it as well before, but we were like the level of opponents before. He's guy's 38, so he's kind of like not fast tracked, but he's kind of sort of picked up things quite late, and then got a lot of fights in a short time. So you got to learn on the job, but you got to learn quickly because time isn't on your side. I get all that. But it shows, I guess, that if you haven't had the level of opponents, Dillian Whyte's had, even like Hellenius, Chisora, he's had those kind of fights, he's had, AJ obviously, but, those fights would have toughened him up and whatnot. So I think it shows that the level of opponent is very important at this stage. And he obviously, I don't think Lucas Browne had it and Dillian did. And obviously our guy got the job done.
This is obviously not, I guess, our decision, or I guess we can only give an opinion on it, but is this it for Browne, do you think? Or where does he go from here? Listen,
he's 38. I think this payday at this stage of his career was probably bigger than he's had before. So I think for him, it's like, look, there was times in that fight, I think he could have said, look, I'm not going to get up off my stool. His eye was cut, he was getting beat. I think, but I like the fact that he thought, I'm going to go, and he went out on his shield or whatnot, but if that was me, I'd be like, I'm cool. Or, maybe have a couple of fights. End of the day, someone like Joe Joyce, might be an option for him. I know Joe Joyce is up and coming, but he's 32. I think mate's 38. So that'd be something you could look at. Maybe Ortiz, Browne might be a good fight. Both of them have just come off defeats against names. I don't know, those sort of fights. Maybe maximise it while you're in. I know it's not probably something that you look at and think, I can win that, but it's like, I am a name. Yeah. I've just fought, fought against Dillian. So maybe just maximise his next couple of years and make the most out of the sport for himself and his family. But do you need to take that sort of beating again? I hope not. I mean, I'm not saying he would get beat like that by everybody, but you don't want to see someone go through that again, especially so late in their career.
The big question now is what's next for Dillian Whyte. He went nuts at the end, and I don't blame him. I think it's probably built up for such a long time because everyone's talking about has he got this, has he got that, is he at that level, is he elite level, has he got the power and all this kind of stuff. And you can tell in his interview at the end he literally is exploded saying, Deontay, bring it. Do you know what I mean? For me, where does he fit in this sort of, I guess, trio? The trio is really, let's be honest, Wilder, Joshua and Fury. Fury's on his way back.
But listen, I'm a big advocate of Fury, and everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But listen, just leave Fury to one side. Leave him to one side. He's not in the trio. Fury isn't in the trio at the moment because he hasn't fought. And he hasn't even given a date for when he's going to fight. So he's not in the trio. He's more of a household name because of what he's achieved. But Dillian Whyte is fighting and he's regular. So I'd say he's closer to being in the trio than Fury. Because even if Fury fights, he isn't going to fight any of them next. Period.
No, of course. But the thing is, when you say trio, if you look at everyone, all the boxing fans, and yourself, you believe, right, that Fury, when he comes back, that he will defeat everyone.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to come back, though.
Yeah, but you can't. That's what I'm saying. You still got to involve him in it because you still think he's the best out there, right?
No, but if he's not fighting, you can't involve him in it.
Well, he will be, right?
Yeah, but exactly, well, will be. This guy is fighting. So Dillian is fighting.
Anyway, listen. So what is next for Dillian Whyte then? So where does he fit? Because obviously, everybody wants to see the fight, AJ versus Wilder. Everybody wants to see that fight. But for me, is that this guy is mandatory now. Now, if the fight between AJ and Wilder is not fixed anytime soon, and I don't know how deep it is, but WBC are going to say, if you're going to fuck around, make the fight happen.
But listen, why is everyone talking about Wilder, AJ now? We can't. He's got his fight. He will not be ready for a while. Deontay's had his fight a little while back, so he can be negotiating. All right? Listen, take the fight with Dillian. I'd say Dillian Whyte and Wilder. It's a risky fight for him. So if he just accepts the challenge, I don't know who you think he will. But if the WBC has ranked him as the next best thing, get it on. That's where he fits. That's the fight. And for Wilder, listen, after watching that, Wilder's going to think, you know what? He roughed up Hellenius. Hellenius is a big guy. Yeah? Dillian Whyte roughed him up, right? Let's make no bones about that. Hellenius thought, you know what? This is actually hard work. Yeah. He's gone in there with Lucas Browne, who's another big guy, who's going to be a banger. Blew him out of the water. So Hellenius, rangy, he doesn't like to get engaged, but he'll make you chase him. Whyte outworked him. Said, listen, it was to move him along, so get out, to keep it moving. He's knocked out a banger. So if the world would like to see that fight now. Whereas before, everyone was like, Dillian Whyte's just someone making noise. And he was at that point. No disrespect, but he was. He's just someone that was making noise at that time. But he's gone and actually backed it up now. He's actually gone out and knocked out Browne. And he's beat Hellenius, who was a big rangy guy, who's been experienced, who's fought against some big names. So he's ready. So now it's like, well, he is next in line. It's not just someone making noise now. He's done it the hard way, and he's got himself back in line, and he's fought Joshua. So if you're Wilder, you're thinking, right, if Joshua's got his fight with Parker. I'll fight the winner of that fight. It could be any one of those two. We think it will be Joshua, but it could be Parker. You don't know, right? So next fight you got to think is the next fight for Wilder is gonna. If he wants it to be Joshua, you're talking a long time of inactivity now. You're looking at maybe a late in the year fight, late, back end of the summer, because he's gonna have Joshua or Parker will have this fight. They're gonna want some downtime because this has been a big build up, and then they're gonna look about the next camp. Negotiations to take place, and then you got the fight, whatever. So there's a long time. So for Dillian Whyte and Wilder, do you know what I mean?
Is there any other fight or any other route that Wilder, our boy Dillian can take?
Well,
if Wilder's not on, then where else could he go?
Well, the thing is, those are the belts, aren't they? The belts are tied up within Wilder, Parker, and obviously AJ, right? So they're the title fights. So.
No, but if Wilder can't happen...
That's what I was about to say. So if they can't happen, then he's probably got to defend his silver belt or whatever, right? And I think that, or he can maybe eliminate the other mandatory, so Povetkin or whatever. I don't know how it works, to be honest. I don't know how the ranking, I don't know where he's ranked with them or stuff like that. So
maybe... They mentioned Brazil, didn't they?
Yeah, but the thing is, Brazil, I like Brazil, I rate Brazil. I think he's a decent fighter, and I actually think that would be a good fight. But it's like... If you're White now, you're like, right, I've propelled myself. I'm there now. So if you're him, you're gonna think, right, I'm gonna be ready. I'm ready. Stay ready. Stay working. Stay training. Luckily, that wasn't a very strenuous fight on him in the sense that he didn't cut up or anything like that. But be ready now, because if the phone rings, you'll take it, and you can be putting the pressure now on Wilder. It's no longer just hot air. He's backed it, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, so let's just quickly end up on the video on a couple of the fights that we saw in the evening as well. I mean, Chisora, obviously we're talking about heavyweight, so let's touch on Chisora. He fought some guy who's just... Let's not even go into...
He looks like a butcher like someone who works at a butcher shop, cutting meat at the back. He looks like one of them sort of guys with those that wears them hats, the hats, the straw hats.
Kebab shop and that.
Yeah, whatever, not straw hats, but the seafood hats. You look at him, he'd be like... Two
number five.
Boom. Just that bro, yeah? No, but not even kebab shop, butchers, the one that works with the white coats and that. He looks like one of them guys, yeah? And listen, Chisora, it was hard to watch, man.
Like for me, the donkey, what was he saying at the end of the fight? Like, Hayes there, and Joyce is there. I feel sorry for Joyce, because he's not that guy. He doesn't go out there talking shit, so he says he just does his business in the ring, right? Now, apparently they've offered him a lot of money. Chisora, apparently, a lot of money for this fight. And this guy is saying, put your purse, to Hay to put his purse for this fight. I mean, what is he talking about?
Listen, I think I've told you what I thought about it earlier. For me, right, actually that's a stupid thing to say, because David Hay's never going to put his purse. We all know David Hay and his P. He's not going to put his purse down, because there's obviously a lot ongoing for him. But the other thing he did say to us, because if you back your boy so much, do you know what I mean? They do it this way around, put something, if you back him so much you think he can beat me so easily, that's fine. But also, the only interesting thing for me was, which says it all, is Eddie Hearn stayed back. Because Eddie Hearn thought, you know what? There's some money here to be made, right? So what I'll do is, the fight's going to happen. And I think it'll probably happen May the 5th. I think it will happen. But I think what he's done is he's gone, well, let's go let him sell the fight a little bit. Let this kick off a little bit. This will sell the fight a little bit. And instead of just being like a nuffy fight, it actually might take off now. So flip it, go on, get on with it, and then he'll get involved. And then it won't be on Channel 5, it might be on Sky Sports or something.
Well, for me, I was completely opposite. For me, I think Chisora needs to just stop talking shit. He needs to know where he's at in this division, and now he's not in the same bracket anymore. He's lost those fights. He's lost against Dillian Whyte. However people saw the fight, he lost again after that in a really bad performance. And now, like you said, he fought a butcher. Just see where you are in your career. Beating Joyce for you will be very good in terms of coming back to where you want to be. And for me, it's like, if you're getting good money, the same money that you've been getting against Povetkin, stop talking shit. All he wants to do is, for me personally, is he wants to get some big payday, just in case his career is finished.
Of course, no, I don't think he makes any bones about that.
Yeah, but you need to know where you are as well. So you're asking for demands when you're not actually that big anymore.
Yeah, but,
you know what I'm trying to say?
But the thing is, he's bigger than Joyce.
He's like a gatekeeper. People keep saying.
Yeah, that's fine. But you can call it whatever you like, but he's bigger than Joyce. Yeah. So essentially, he can call the shots to Joyce and say, "Listen, you've had 2-3 fights. I don't
Not them shots. That's what I'm trying to say.
Of course, but this what he said was, way and above. But I'm actually okay with what Chisora done, because he's building that fight now. That's going to be more pedigree and more money in his pocket, which is what he's doing it for. So as far as I'm concerned, the other thing I will say is, I don't think David Hay is going to make a good promoter, because when he's spoken to, he doesn't fill you with any confidence. He doesn't come with any real swagger or like suave. It's nothing. he looked like he's rattled. He's always rattled. He's always like, no, we spoke to him. We up for it. Bro, just relax. If Eddie Hearn was put on that situation by Chisora, he would have spun him with words.
Well, the thing is, David Hayes, he's new to the whole promoting game, so, he might get better. As long as he make good fights, I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully, I don't know where it'll go. Joyce seems to be a good fighter. A lot of people rate him. So, like you said, we definitely would want to see the fight. The other guy that, I guess, impressed us was Callum Johnson. Now, your boy Buglioni. He should just stick to, like, modelling or just Maximus or modelling protein shakes and that, because man's got a rig, but... I didn't see that coming. Did you see that coming? Like, I know this guy. A lot of people saying you could bang. But did you see first round?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I actually think Buglioni, when you watch his interviews and the way he talks and conducts himself, he's that's six boy in there. Yeah, love fighting. Listen, stick to get your rig out, go on holidays. Do you know what I mean? Be on the only way he's Essex, not a problem. But boxing, imagine that was Anthony Yard. There's a lot of talk about Anthony Yard against this guy. Nah. Frank, nah.
Yeah, nah. But what about Callum Johnson now? What, Commonwealth and British champion?
Yeah, fair play to him. His record's good. I know. I heard he's gone for a lot of stuff. He's the unspoken of guy in the division.
Boy can bang.
But he banged, and to be fair, he backed it. He said it and he backed it. Yeah. So listen, fair play. He is an impressive performance. It's a good division to be in. There's some big names in there. I know that he's very good, good stable mates with Jose Burton. Funny thing now is that you might even look at it and think Frank Buglioni might need Jose Burton after beating him controversially, saying a rematch, then not going through with it. It might now be a chance for Jose Burton to be like, do you know what, Frank? Nah, fuck it, I ain't gonna fight you, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's opened it all up again, and now if you're Anthony Yard, you're looking at that fight and saying Frank Buglioni needs me as well, because Frank Buglioni just got beat, right? So either he goes for this rematch with Johnson, and I don't know if he beat him again, because he just looked like a more powerful bloke, didn't he? But then obviously if you're Buglioni, you're thinking, I tell you what, Yard's he can bang, looking at his fights and stuff. I got put down by this geezer. Do I need to fight? Do I want to fight Yard? If Anthony Yard wants it now, he'll bitch you put it on him, and be like, right, let's fight. You need me now. Let's fight on my terms and come fight on my card on my show. I don't know if it's a wise move for him. So I think it's a real bad loss, devastating loss for Buglioni, and I don't know where it leaves him now. Has he got the desire within himself to go on and want to come back? If he goes to the world level, unfortunately, and I'm really sorry, Frank, but I think you'd get you'll get beat. But that's my opinion.
And a very very quick shout out to the Scouser, our boy Anthony Fowler. Good victory today. There was a few things I think he knows he needs to work on. When we first started, his head movement wasn't too great. He was getting caught with some quite simple jabs, to be honest, but he waxed well and he mixed up his punches good in the body shots. He kept repeating the body shots there, kept going through. It was a good win for him, but he's in a massive learning curve from amateurs to pro, and we saw that today, right? And I think, but the guy's got a complete engine.
Yeah, and listen, obviously, being who he is and Liverpool fans and all that sort of stuff, obviously going to back him to the hills. So, but like you say, the head movement wasn't really there when he first walked in. But you could see he's got it, because I think sometimes it's just a matter of clicking into him, because you just want to take him out. More powerful, bigger guy. The other guy was a bit quick. He's quite nippy. He's quite nifty when he first got in there. But I think he felt a few shots and thought, I don't really fancy much of this, and obviously went down and stuff. And I don't think the stopping was right, but I think he was a bit premature. The guy was up, he was ready to go again, but as Anthony said, it was probably best for his safety to maybe just stop it there. But yeah, a lot to work with, but yeah, it'll look positive.
So let's wrap this video up. We're on to next week, the big fight against AJ and Parker. Looking forward to that. Let us know your thoughts on the performance today from Dillian Whyte. Where does he really go from here? Do you think it should be him and Wilder now, or does everybody just want to see AJ versus Wilder? And Lucas Browne, I mean, the guy, hats off to Lucas Browne. I think he made a lot of fans here in the UK. He was respectful. He got involved in all the media and picked up the fight. Hope he's okay. So yeah, everybody let us know your opinions on the fight. And peace.